And the first one, your practice right now, the way that you practice English right now, maybe it's not aligned with your goal. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you have an English interview. You have an interview for a job and you need to practice English. If you are practicing every day with Netflix, it is a good practice. Yes, you are improving your English, learning and getting new vocabulary. But that practice will not help you in a job interview because you need to be doing things that are aligned with your goal. For example, I wanted to study abroad, and I did. I went to the US when I was 17 years old, and I am 27 now. So 10 years ago, my goal was to go to the US to study. And for me to practice English, to prepare for that activity, I needed to practice in a smart way. I needed to align my practice with my goal. So I couldn't just do conversation classes because for me to study abroad, I need to go through an application process. I need to learn, I need to do a test, the TOEFL test, the IELTS test. If I just speak conversation, if I just practice conversation, that was not going to help me. I needed to align my practice with my goal. Mistake number 2. People do something that I call passive exposure. What is passive exposure? Is when people are not using the language when they are practicing. Nanda, how can I do that? If I practice, I am learning English. How can I not be using the language when I am practicing? Well, let me give you some examples. Let's think that you are in class right now, because you are. You are in class, you are here listening to me. But sometimes you are in college. Sometimes you are at school. And then you have a professor and he's teaching you about something. I don't know, teaching you maybe about biology. And he's taking notes, and that's okay. You are listening about about cells in the human body and all those things. But you are passively exposing yourself to it. You are taking notes, but if you don't revise the notes, if you don't study that again, you will forget. That's passive exposure. If you want to remember things, you need to be active about your practice. So mistake number 3. People become dependent of other people to practice. Why is that a mistake? Because it's very difficult for us to practice English because we have a very busy routine. We have so many things in our lives, so many priorities, right? A lot of priorities. So it's very easy for me to say that I'm not going to practice English today because my teacher is not here. I'm not going to practice today because I don't have a friend that will speak with me yet. I will not practice today because I don't have an English course. A lot of people make excuses like this so they don't practice English. When you can really become an independent student, you can learn English and become very independent on your own. And yes, it's very important to have friends that speak English with you, that you can practice together, but you cannot think that that's the only way. The problem is when you go very extreme and you think that you will only be able to evolve your English if you have a private professor or teacher. It's good if you can, yes, very good, but you cannot become dependent. If the person is not there, if your friend's not there, if you don't have a teacher, you have to keep going and use the resources that you have.